We know the cops do crazy and outrageous things. We know. Well, we got another case right here. Sheriff's wife falsely accused a black man of sexual battery. Say what? Oh yeah. Man accused of groping cop's wife wrongfully arrested. Here we go.
Listen, the police do crazy things.
Yes.
But this may be one of the craziest stories you heard in recent history. A black male goes to a coffee shop in Georgia. There's a sheriff and his wife. The sheriff is transporting an inmate. The elected sheriff is transporting an inmate. His wife is a deputy sheriff as well. She works for him. The wife screams that the black male groped her. The sheriff, who's outside of his county, decides to effect an arrest on the black male, contrary to the witnesses who said no groping took place whatsoever. The police come of that jurisdiction. They see the video. The investigators say, wait a minute, no groping took place. But the white female deputy, who's the wife of the sheriff, she starts to weaponize her white tears. And because she's crying, they decide to go ahead and arrest the black male who happens to have a top secret security clearance from the U.S. government and one of their major contractors. He goes to jail for sexual assault.
Wow.
Here's the first video.
Unreal.
God, y'all not in uniform. Y'all in uniform trying to arrest them. Y'all are not in uniform trying to arrest them. Get my phone. Oh, you talking about getting the cops? You know, see the nigga, sit down. Hell no. Let him go. Let him go.
No, they finna break my arm, man. They finna break my arm.
Are you serious?
They finna break my arm. They break my arm.
What's your name? What's your name? Get my phone. What's your bad name?
Just stop.
What's your name?
Just
What's your name? Everybody. Get my phone. Yes,
just stop, please. Just please. I'm begging you, stop.
They got my phone.
Oh,
she took my phone. For what?
You seen it. I'm not doing
Yeah, that's the sheriff and that's the wife. She needs to be she needs to be slapped. What a bitch. Accusing a man of groping when it never happened.
Tell the sheriff.
Get him. No. Let her go. You don't even know me. You don't even know me. Don't touch me because you in the wrong. And she in the wrong.
Woo. Remember, the white female deputy, who happens to be his wife, the sheriff's wife, has screamed that he groped me. She never was groped at all. We got the evidence to prove it. Now, here's the other irony of this entire story. The sheriff that you saw is an elected sheriff in a place called Clinch County, Georgia. The situation happened in Henry County, Georgia. Okay? He was outside of his jurisdiction. Okay? There's more. The local authorities arrived. The Henry County police arrived. Here's what happened.
The lady in the car got her phone. She snatched her phone out of her hand.
Who?
Her right there acting like she not doing nothing.
She's trying to make a risk. She hit her in the face.
Are y'all on duty? Are y'all on duty? Are y'all on duty? Are y'all on duty? Talking about an assault. Nobody did nothing. Are y'all on duty though? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's what I'm saying.
That's a good question you just had. Is that sheriff and his wife on duty? No. And they're outside their jurisdiction. Pay attention to mine and that, ladies and gentlemen.
She come up with him getting on the surface.
Okay, I don't know what was happening. I didn't see him being belligerent. He just said, "You're under arrest." Didn't say
Literally.
wouldn't talk to me. Then he threw him into the ground.
You under arrest? It's not even your county. It's not your county. This is not your jurisdiction.
Okay. No, just keep it rolling, please. Keep it rolling.
The witnesses are very clear in what they saw. The black male was not being aggressive. The sheriff was being aggressive. And you heard the young lady, she said, she has my phone. Literally, the deputy, the female deputy, decided to take this woman's cell phone. Remember, These are two cops completely outside of their jurisdiction.
Yeah.
He screams, "I'm the sheriff," but he's not the sheriff of Henry County, where he was arresting the male. There's another video. Here it is.
That's what I'm saying. He do or she do?
Get my phone! Get my phone! Get my phone!
Keep recording.
Keep recording.
Hey, everything
Get my phone.
Keep recording.
Get my phone.
Keep recording.
Why are they trying to arrest y'all?
Keep recording.
See, he telling her. He telling her.
Hey, baby.
Get my phone.
Hey, stop. Hey, stop.
Why are y'all arrest? What are y'all doing? You're not even authorized to arrest her. You're not even authorized to arrest her. You're not even authorized to arrest her. You're not even authorized.
Woo!
Bud Light Seltzer.
Damn!
Classic cola.
Oh, I get.
Out of control.
Yeah,
Out of control.
it was.
Right? Now, let's put up a picture of Mr. Darius Rice, the initial victim in this case. Mr. Darius Rice
Right there.
now may have his security clearance revoked because of the arrest. He may lose his contracting job. He's a military contractor. Channel 2's Tom Jones spoke to Darius Rice, who said he was taken into custody and charged with sexual battery of a sheriff's deputy. That was the charge. That's a serious ass charge. Sexual battery of a sheriff's
That's almost
deputy.
right up there with,
This happened
attempted
in April
rape.
after
That's
an
a serious
incident at
felony
the
charge.
Henry County Quick Trip store. Now, they have lawyered up. And I spoke to one of the lawyers of Mr. Rice today. Bakari Sellers is an attorney for Mr. Rice, as well as civil rights attorney Harry Daniels. I spoke to Attorney Daniels earlier today, and I have additional context. Let's put up a picture of the Clinch County Sheriff, Stephen Tinsley. All right. Let me also put up a picture of the Henry County Police Chief, where all of this actually happened. That's Mark Ammerman, Henry County Chief of Police. Let me give you some additional background. We got some twists and turns here. Rice told Jones, the reporter, he is innocent and that it was a conflict of interest for the sheriff to even arrest him, since the alleged victim is the sheriff's wife. Rice is a military veteran who said he served in combat. Rice wants justice after he said Clinch County Sheriff Stephen Tinsley handcuffed him and tossed him to the ground outside a Stockbridge Quick Trip on April 7th in Georgia. That's after the sheriff's wife, a deputy, said he groped her inside the store. Now, here's what happened. There's actually video evidence that will be released very soon.
Okay.
The authorities came and reviewed the footage in the store. The Henry County Police said, well, there's no groping. He accidentally bumped into her, and she comes outside and says, he groped me. In order for sexual battery to occur, one of the statutory elements is that it must be intentional. It must be intentional. The investigators that arrived, they reviewed the footage and spoke to witnesses, and everything lined up to unintentional contact. It was a bump. That's all it was. But these two out of control, power hungry SOBs said, oh, we got something for them. We're going to just arrest a black man today and say, oh, white woman sexually assaulted. Now, remember, even though this woman did not cry rape, it's very similar. Oh, a black man has now sexually assaulted me. He needs to go to jail. This was such a chaotic scene. There's more. Rice said he accidentally bumped into Clinch County Deputy April Tinsley while inside the convenience store, and said he was looking down at the time. The video evidence proves that. Several people pulled out their phones that night and began recording after they saw Sheriff Tinsley trying to arrest Rice. There are several videos of the scuffle between the sheriff and Rice. On one video, you can hear Sheriff Tinsley say, "I'm the sheriff, but you're not in Henry damn County. You are not the sheriff there." And let me also say this about what this duo has done. Number one, it connects back to the fact that they are likely corrupt as hell in many other ways. Okay? The fact that the elected sheriff is driving a damn inmate. What elected sheriff you know drives an inmate? Have you ever heard of that before in your life? Something else is fishy about this story. So the elected sheriff is transporting an inmate to another county. His wife is the deputy who has tagged along for the ride. There's more. Henry County Police said Rice's girlfriend, Mr. Rice's girlfriend, Ashley Jackson, recorded the scuffle back in April. That's when they said April Tinsley grabbed Jackson's phone. Now we're talking about the deputy. She grabbed Jackson's phone. That's a crime. And threw it in their truck, trying to hide the evidence. The Tinsleys were reportedly transporting an inmate from Atlanta to Ware County. All right. Now, I have to mention, people like this, they do a disservice to real victims of sexual assault. They are real victims of sexual assault in this world. And their stories need to be heard. Their truth needs to be protected. We need to have an atmosphere of protection for them to tell them.
You know, I always sit there and say, yeah, the wife of this deputy sheriff, boy, she just puts a big old black eye on the real victims out there for the Me Too movement out there, saying that he groped me, all that shit. And it's just such a sad case. You get a woman out there falsifying, reporting, rape charges against, men like that. And some of the women do it out of revenge. If the guy dumps them, and you get bitches out there so triggered like that. I said, well, if he dumped me, I'm gonna make his life miserable.
Their stories, but people like this, they eat away at the public trust.
Yeah,
and do a complete disservice to those who are actual victims of sexual assault.
Yep.
After that happened, Jackson and Tinsley then got into an altercation after Tinsley accused Jackson of assault. Okay. Rice's attorneys point out that the police officers who looked at the video of the alleged groping said it shows Rice accidentally bumped into Tinsley. That's what the investigators in Henry County said. Another officer said Deputy Tinsley was backing away from the encounter when it happened. Okay? All right, the police come. Let me show you how strong a white woman's tears can be when weaponized. Especially if that white woman happens to be a police officer. The investigators said, we see no groping. The witnesses said, no, we saw no groping. And they still decided to charge this man, arrest him, fingerprint him, take him to get a mug shot, and now he has to fight this case in criminal court. There's more. Let's put up a picture of the person who has taken over the investigation. His name is Sheriff Reginald Scandrick. I actually know Sheriff Scandrick. I've met him a couple of times in my life. He's a new sheriff. He needs to do the right thing here. Sir, we will be holding you completely accountable for the outcome of this situation. Rice's attorneys are still wondering why Rice still faces a charge. It's amazing to me that with all the evidence, a white woman's tears still trump all of those things attorney Bakari Sellers said, and I agree with Bakari. Rice's attorney said the sheriffs should have called authorities immediately. That shows that he was a conflict of interest because his wife is saying, hey, babe, somebody touch me, according to attorney Harry Daniels. I spoke to attorney Harry Daniels before the show today, and attorney Daniels said not only are they suing, they are also looking to file criminal charges against both of these individuals who were involved in this assault. Not only on Mr. Rice, but also his girlfriend, because the female deputy stole the phone and tried to destroy the evidence they had. Damn. Oh, so convoluted, but it's so unfortunate that it's true. Professor, what are your thoughts on this case?
You know, the video itself is hard to watch, but if there is an example of a weaponization of white tears, this is a clear one. So you captured it with that statement. And then, another key point that you raised is that it has economic consequences. So obviously there's the trauma of being arrested, the stigma of being arrested, and all the sordidness that goes along with simply having free mobility and walking about your life, and this threat of detention, this threat of bodily harm that's not only weaponized, but weaponized with state resources. So it's state-inflicted violence. We shouldn't forget that part of the story. But the other point that you raised, which is also spot on, his livelihood is threatened. His ability to work is threatened because of this arrest.
Yeah, and you make a great point about state-inflicted harm, because the state is funded by us. We are literally funding
Yeah, I'm still just baffled, like, oh my God. It's just another case that cops get away with it. Yeah, a stupid, dumb, just another dumb bitch out there that cries rape or shit like that. Oh, he groped me. When the evidence on the video shows he didn't. He just actually bumped into her. God, fucking Karen. That sheriff and his wife should be fired, man. They're affecting the livelihood of this guy's man. Yeah, he probably will lose his job. He got to inspect his girlfriend too. That bitch stole Mrs. Jackson. Yeah, took her phone and threw it in the truck. Yeah, because you know why? Because they know on video like that. That's why cops trying to destroy evidence or like take people's phone or the cameras away. Yeah, because they know they don't want because videos don't lie. Because they know if the shit get busted out, this video shown. Oh, well, shit. Yeah. Just like it was a couple years ago, I think we all remember when Jack Miller, Texas Sheepdog, went to Leon Valley. People said he went up there because of Mexipadilla. Nope. It was because the 3006, 3007 illegal sign of a weapon. And Jack went in there with his rubber Glock. He didn't went all the way. He went by the door, wanted to fire a FOIA request. And he had a fan camera, all this stuff. And guess what Leon Valley do? They fucked him over, took him in his house, raided him, and took everything down there. That just happened just over last year with Kevin Brad, pissed out taxpayer pie. Yeah, the cops accused him of wiretapping, illegal wiretapping, recording phone calls like that. They took all his stuff too as well. This is how corrupt these cops are in our society, in the system. This is why people are going out there preaching about defunding the cops, want to report on bad police, and this is why people film the cops as well too. It's another case right there. With that said, I'm out of here. Mike Job, peace out.